Now, back in February, the legendary James Carville, the Democrat strategist who's responsible for helping Bill Clinton win the presidency back in 1992, came out with this insane prediction about what would happen with President Trump and the MAGA movement within 30 days. So I'm going to play that clip of what James Carville said, but then I'm going to update you and show you exactly what's going on and how this insane prediction is embarrassing the Democrat Party and backfired big time. Check out what James Carville had to say about President Trump and the MAGA movement. Check this out.
Folks want, meaning Fox News plays sound bites of Democrats' heads exploding as sort of sport. So what should they do from a media or political perspective?
Well, okay, I'm going to tease a piece I'm pretty sure will be coming out that I'm doing in the New York Times, probably Monday or Tuesday, but sometimes they'll kill it. But what I've said very publicly, Democrats need to play possum. This whole thing is collapsing. It doesn't need Elizabeth Warren and somebody screaming to pacify some progressive advocacy groups in Washington, which, by the way, I wish these people were just useless. They're actually worse than useless, that they're detrimental. And they never, ever learn to shut up. And so, Dan, this is what I believe. I believe that this administration, in less than 30 days, in the midst of a massive collapse, and particularly a collapse in public opinion. Della Volpe at Harvard, who's very good. I used to think, once I saw a Harvard youth poll, I discounted it. I've come to say it's a pretty damn good poll. Pretty good guy. He's gone from 53 approval to under 30 to 39. That's a collapse. And all we need to do, the analogy I use, is picket is 500 yards from the stone wall. Hold your fire. It's going to be easy pickings here in 6 weeks. Just lay back.
Well, that's what James thought. Now let's fast forward it. It's been 30 days now, and you heard James Carville say that he really respects the Harvard poll. So let's take a look at it. In the new poll, the Harvard poll shows massive support for President Trump and his agenda. A new poll by Harvard CAPS reveals the majority of country backs President Donald Trump and his actions to bring much needed reforms that are making America great again. 81% support deporting illegal immigrants. 76 support a full-scale effort to find and eliminate fraud and waste. 76 support closing the border. 69% support men out of women's sports. 68% support government declaring two genders. 65 support ending race-based hiring. 63 support freezing and reevaluating foreign aid. 61% support reciprocal tariffs, even though they act like everybody's so panicked over tariffs. 60% support direct U.S. negotiations with Russia rather than always going back and forth. 59% cutting government spending. 57% support ending the ban on new offshore drilling. So by his own admission, this Harvard poll that he respects so much, and he's saying, oh, MAGA and Trump was going to collapse in 30 days. It wasn't true. But let me let CNN show you what they have to say about exactly what's going on with President Trump and these polls, because if he thought the Harvard poll was something that, he respected, what does he think about CNN? Check out this clip from CNN and watch what they say President Trump's numbers are right now. It'll blow your mind. And then after that, I'm going to show you how many Democrats are jumping ship, fleeing to the Republican Party, and why they say that they're doing it. Check out this clip from CNN.
I think sometimes it's important to do a little bit of reality check and take a little different spin at the numbers. I'm going to do that right here because all we talk about is how unpopular Donald Trump is. But in reality, he's basically more popular than he was at any point in term number one. I think sometimes it's important. I think sometimes it's important to do a little bit of reality check and take a little different spin at the numbers. I'm going to do that right here because all we talk about is how unpopular Donald Trump is. But in reality, he's basically more popular than he was at any point in term number one and more popular than he was when he won election back in November of 2024. What are we talking about? His net favorable rating right now comes in at -4 points. Compare that to where he was when he won in November of 2024 when he was at -7 points, or March of 2017 when he was at -10 points. So when you compare Trump against himself, he's actually closer to the apex than he is to the bottom of the trough. And of course, that's so important because Donald Trump, historically speaking, has had his numbers underestimated. So I think it's very important to compare him to himself to understand he's actually more popular now than he was when he won or certainly where he was at this point back in his first term. The bottom line is Trump is more towards the ceiling than he is towards the floor.
So when you do that, it makes my knees hurt. So when you look at this compared to sort of historically, what does it tell you about the percentage of folks that think the country itself, with him at the helm, is on the right track?
This, I think, is rather important because, again, if the polls have historically underestimated Donald Trump, what is a metric that might get at understanding and how popular he may actually be? So let's take a look at the percentage of the country who say that we're on the right track. It's actually a very high percentage when you compare it to some historical numbers. What are we talking about? According to Maris, 45% say that we're on the right track. That's the second highest that Maris has measured since 2009. How about NBC News? 44%. That's the highest since 2004. Wow. The bottom line is the percentage of Americans who say we're on the right track is through the roof. And if you were to compare it to when presidents have historically been reelected, of course, Trump is not constitutionally eligible to run for reelection, but I think it sort of puts it in perspective. 42% of the country says the country is on the right track when the incumbent party is reelected. And also keep in mind, back when Kamala Harris lost and the Democrats were turned out of power, only about 27 to 28% of the country said the country is on the right track. The bottom line is right now, a much higher percentage of the country says we're on the right track. And finally, Sarah Seidner, I want to put it all in the congressional generic ballot.
What about Congress?
What about Congress? Because those are the folks who are up in 2026. And take a look here. The Dems versus the Republicans on the generic congressional ballot. Back in November of 2020, when Democrats won, it was +5 Democrats. Tied in November of 2022, +1 in November of 2024 when Republicans maintain control. And then you look at March of 2025. This number looks a lot more like 2022 or 2024 when Republicans won control of Congress. The bottom line is, yes, Donald Trump's approval rating is lower than compared to a lot of his predecessors, but it's higher than compared to himself. A lot of folks say the country's on the right track, and the generic congressional ballot looks a heck of a lot more like when Republicans win than when Democrats win.
If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid. Hit that like button. I'll never ask you for a cash app, and I'll never ask for a super chat. But your like, that is currency. It helps spread the video around. And on the Real Politics Podcast, that's what we do. We talk real politics. So you should subscribe to the channel. And once you do, hit that notification bell and select all. That way, you'll be notified when I upload new videos. I love how Ellie is so animated with that, but you see it. And you know that if CNN is reporting this, we know that CNN and MSNBC, their numbers are traditionally stacked to make Democrats look like they're doing much better than they actually are. So if they're saying Trump is doing this well and that these Congress is looking like the Republicans are going to win like that, you know that means it's much better. But let's listen to some people, lifelong Democrats, who talk about why they have switched parties. What was their motivation? And it's some really heartfelt reasons behind it that could possibly make you even drop a tear or relate heavily to what it is that they're saying. But let's get into it. Check this clip out.
Hello, everyone. Well, today is my last day in the Democratic Party. I will be hosting or emceeing, if you will, the Dominicans for Trump rally today at Plaza Las Americas at 2 p.m. I hope to see everybody there. I will be leaving the Democratic Party. Not sure, joining the Republicans or independent, but remains to be seen. But I hope to see everyone there. 2 p.m. Plaza Las Americas, 175th Street and Broadway.
Check out this explanation from this young girl. This was really heartfelt. And as a black man in America, it really touched me. And no matter what race you are, if you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever it is, you know what she says, if you're a real human, a person with feelings, you gotta agree with what it is that she's saying. Check this out.
We want peace. And the Democrats keep going back and look, check it out, right? I honor my ancestors and the people who fought for us to be in this room here today. No one is discounting what my people went through, but honor them by getting past it and invoking forgiveness in this culture. I'm so tired of being told I need to be afraid. I'm so tired that I need to be told all the time that I have to vote for the Democrats who have done nothing positive for my life at all. My life is totally worse than it was during the Trump administration. Yet I kept having, you must vote for the Democrats. We're told this as Black people since we were a child. Let's honor our ancestors by doing better and honor them, because they're rolling over in their graves hearing the fact that Kamala Harris is having Megan Thee Stallion twerk and showing our bodies as these like just vessels of lust. That's not cool. These women out here are being told that Donald Trump is like their enemy, when really Kamala Harris opening up the border, look what happened to Lake and Riley. She's a woman. She was a woman just like I am. No woman, black or white, wants that to happen to her. All of these people whose kids are dying, the black moms, the white moms, they all cry the same color tears.
Yes, yeah.
So let's move past this. Let's vote for Donald Trump so we can all be prosperous again. Let's get out of this fear, this rage, and this anger because it comes from the devil. So hear me, black folks. Hear me, white folks. We are so much more alike than we are different.
She spoke the truth. She spoke the truth. Now, check out this next clip from a lifelong Democrat and why she says she could no longer support the Democrat Party and decided that she's on the Trump train. Check this out.
I am a Democrat. I'm a registered Democrat, but I would also occasionally vote for Republican. You know, I go according to, you know, who is better.
Like Joe Biden as a Democrat, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think he's destroying the country with his policies. You know, it's just things are getting worse and worse. The more we're having more, we can end up with World War III with Biden. I think that Trump is going to make America great again. I mean, I'm saying that, you know, even though his personality, like, forget it. He says things that angers me, but his policies were much better.
Policies over personality. Policies what matter. They wanted everybody to say they like Kamala and they like Joe, and Joe Biden is so likable, but he got ran over on the global stage. He had no compassion for the American citizens. And so what? Trump says something in a tweet many times is off the cuff, and you know, and it's something just spoken in jest or being silly or sarcastic, and the media wants to take it all literal, where it's just in jest. But when it comes to his policies, when it comes to putting America first, like when he has Zelensky in that office, and finally for us to see a leader with a backbone, that made every American proud. If you're really patriotic, you didn't feel offended by what he did. You felt offended by what Zelensky did. But check out this next woman as she gives her heartfelt reason on why she jumped from the Democrats to the Republicans. And there's one specific topic that really pushed her over the edge. Check this clip out.
After blindly voting for years, not doing my own research, just doing what my family told me to do. Here's one reason why I changed voting parties immediately when it came to women's rights. I have never met a woman of God that was okay spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally after receiving an abortion. And I just call it like it is. And I get it. Things do happen. But let's be completely honest here. Many use it as a form of birth control. And we see that in the songs all the time. When you are serving a higher power, getting an abortion is something that will not sit right in your spirit. It just won't. Stop looking at it through the lens of he's trying to interfere with women's rights, and ask yourself, why did it take for a man to say, hey, stop having all these abortions, stop taking this abortion medication that may ultimately lead to your demise? That's the question that needs to be asked. Why did it take a man to tell a woman to pipe down on the abortions? It's just not okay. Chill with that. It may lead to your demise. Why ain't that the question?
I mean, I couldn't agree with her more. And there's more and more stories like this. And I just wanted to jump in. And if you're somebody that sees these headlines and in the sign there, they're telling us, oh, the people are losing faith. Oh, they're stepping away from Trump. Don't believe it. It's a lie. It's propaganda. And they do these things to kind of create these uproars. They feel like if they say it's happening, people will believe it, and then it'll happen. It's kind of like trying to speak it into existence, but we aren't letting that happen. And so, hey, listen, if you've watched the video at this point, thank you so much. And if you're still here, hit that like button, share the video, leave a comment, you know, let me know what you felt about what you saw in the video. Most importantly, again, thank you so much for staying here and watching this with me. I'm Brian Maxwell, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.